following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Just 24 hours ago in the Cup Series cut line finale here at Talladega, utter chaos ensued, and a winner got the victory out of pure surprise. Last lap crashes, 3 and 4 wide racing, and very risky moves is the name of the game, and that is even more exemplified when you have your chase life to depend on. Race 12 here at Talladega in the trucks as we try to put into paper who will be racing for that Truck Series championship. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage of round number 12 of the area Truck Series right here at the famous high banks of Talladega. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth. Hunter Sleppy here with the calls to help me out again. He's usually not able to do the truck races, but his schedule is open and happy to have him. He will be here in a few moments' time, just dealing with a few odds and ends on his side. But qualifying right now is underway as, of course, with Talladega, qualifying at this place really doesn't mean very much, but you do get pit position, which is important to have. There's Brad Slaughter on the track right now. He was someone who was in contention for the win last night, but it did not come to fruition for him. And of course, many other drivers. Jeremy Miller, who has had a great season in trucks, but not so much in the Cup Series. He will try to cement his playoff seeding here today. As we speak of where we stand here with our point standings, let's bring them up on the right side of your screen. And you can see where Garrett Conrath is up by about 40 or so points on Jacob Harberts. You can see the numbers in yellow. That is the difference to the cut line. And you can see once you get down there to Hayden Swank, only 16 up. McCullum 12. Beckner and Slaughter tied there, only 1 point above the cut line. And then let's show you the guys who are fighting there behind that cut line. Ryan Swan only down 1. And really everybody on this list, I do believe, has a mathematical chance if the stars line up in their immense favor to manage to get their way in. But really, I'd say everybody upwards of Kyle Taub has a legitimate chance with only being 23 points in. There is the kind of hidden aspect to this with the wild card seating, where if you're in the top 20, you've met the participation requirements of the league, you do have the opportunity to get a wild card, and that can take you for the 11th and 12th positions. So just taking a look at things here and trying to see if anybody does have that opportunity from 11th on back within the top 20, and we don't really have. Let me just double check here as I get my information all correct. And while I'm doing that, I want to thank everyone for tuning in at PTR TV. If it's first time, don't make it your last. Hit the like and subscribe button. And of course, if you're watching on the area iRacing Twitch, hit the like button. Consider subscribing and following there. A $5 a month subscription gets you double points, custom emotes, and you can turn those double points into some free merch. But as I pull up the standings here, again, looking back 11th through 20th, there is no winner in that 11th through 12th and that 13th through 20th. So it will just be the point standing. So we will have some interesting things going on, watching to see how these drivers fare to get themselves in. And then, of course, you have drivers who want the better seating. There are positions realistically, as I'll pull up the points once again, the top 12. Jacob Harberts with 385. I'd say realistically, Cole Cabry, that's about a 30-point swing. There could be swings to get better seating going into those chase races at the Chicagoland Speedway next week. So a lot to race for in a slight wild card format here at the Talladega Super Speedway. We saw the Cup race last night, and if you didn't catch it live, go back and watch what happened in that Studio Temporary Cup Series race last night, because we had some of the craziest racing. The Next Gen Card Real Life only wishes it raced how that virtual Next Gen car race last night, with, of course, Josh Cottle getting the surprise victory through the last lap utter chaos. But we do have a warm-up here. We'll see how long this warm-up session does carry on through. We do have a fair amount of penalties that will be applicable here. We have 9 EOLs, end-of-line penalties, and then more importantly and more serious, we do have 8 drive-throughs. Now, I suppose the benefit of 8 drive-through penalties is if those drivers, of which who are here, pit, they can kind of create a mini draft, probably evade going a lap down, and with the help of a caution, they'll get themselves back into the game. And at the end of line, there may be drivers that voluntarily want to be end of line to evade any potential carnage, so that may not be the worst penalty. And of course, here in the Area Truck Series, we have had our fair share of cautions and wrecks over the course of this season. So, missing the ultimate chaos at the front could prove beneficial. There goes Jacob Harberts. Didn't have any green flag stops last night in the Cup Series race, but that's always something you do want to practice, getting down from 190 down to, I think, 55 miles an hour, especially in traffic. But we do have about 3 minutes left here in the warm-up session. We'll wait and see if we do get a bump here. Typically, we only get a bump if someone has connection issues or if there's any administrative stuff that needs to get sorted. So these drivers just getting their last second laps in, hopefully, again, dusting off that pit strategy, that pit lane entry here. Not too difficult, a lot of space to do it, but we've seen speeding penalties, we've seen lockups, and we do know iRacing did tighten up the reins on what speeding penalties will entail and how just a little bit over the limit can give you that black flag. There goes Hayden Swank in. And just behind that, the 12 truck of Carson Burrows practicing his green flag pit entry here. Getting some information in chat. Jalen Handcamp having a fan here in chat, hoping that he can get a victory. And, well, really, if you evade a wreck, anybody has a chance. These trucks draft pretty well when it comes to the suck-up, when it comes to the distance, the runs. But the truck is actually known to be quite unstable, and that is something in the real world, of course, the Cletus McFarland fans know, and all the work he has done, that these trucks are very unstable in the draft, and you can lose air. They do get pretty loose, especially in certain situations, and depending on how aggressive the bumping is here today, which last night it was rather aggressive, but they did a great job hanging on to it. We'll see if we have any trucks that are dancing and sliding out of control. It looks as though we're going to run this on through here. And of course, we want to thank some of the partners here with the Area Series, the Area League. Of course, Rick's Hot Sauce being one of the partners. We have shop.areairacing.com, Central Mobile Homes, which of course will be our starting grid sponsor. Of course, if you're looking for a shed, triple crown trailer, or a small or large home, look no further than Central Mobile Homes, proudly serving Florida customers for 30 years with a plethora of different floor plan shed designs and triple crown trailers available in Bella, Pechomi, Cluson, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomesinc.com for more info. And Hunter has made his way through the chaos in the grandstands. And welcome to the cut race, Hunter. We should be in for a crazy one.
Yeah, crazy to say the least. It's been a pretty wild last 24 hours. We have the Area Cup race, and That was a phenomenal race, and once again, the last lap pass. I'm not sure if we've brought that up or not, but usually we do have late race passes, not usually a last lap pass like last year with Jeremy Brown, where the winner of the race got disqualified. That was a weird little conundrum that happened there, but he led no laps, but was able to come through with the win, being the second car on track for some sort of reason. But usually get about 3 yellows here, but it's the trucks, and they've been known to have a lot of yellows this year, so who knows. But 6 of our 7 truck races here at Talladega have had green, white, checker finishes.
Well, and if I was a betting man, which I am not, I would put my money on the fact that that may be applicable. But we'll see what happens as we now head down trackside for that Central Mobile Homes Inc. starting lineup. Starting today's race off from the prime position at a 54.8. These trucks are slow around this place, but they'll speed up in the draft. Hayden Swank with Garrett Grant to the outside of row number 1. We'll go back. We'll find Travis Beckner in 3rd. Alex Chilcutt going to be in the 4th spot. 5th finds Jonathan Evans and Jeremy Miller going to roll off outside row 3. Jacob Harbert's in 7th with Ryan Andrew going to be in 8th. A lot of 8 in that lineup. 9th and 10th we'll find Ryan Swan and Garrett Conrath, our points leader.
We're in the next row. We got Brian Knoll in 11th and Jalen Handcamp going to start 12th tonight. Brad Slaughter Jr. going to roll off 13th, and 14th will be Cody Dempster. 15th, Ben Pierce. He had a top 5 in last night's Cup race. Next to him is Danny Ware in 16th. 17th, we'll find Kyle Taub in the number 56. Next to him, Zachary Nerney in the 18th position in the number 66 truck. And then next to him, Josh Parrish, 19th, and then Jacob Bell in 20th.
And we'll head back through the remainder of our starting lineup. Carson Burrows and Dawson Miller will share a row. And then Forrest Smith, Bryce Senesac will find in row number 13. Jeff Wilson and last night's winner, Josh Caudle, in the 13 truck. 27th finds Cole Cabry and Trevor Edwards in 28th. 29th finds Chase Swank and then Grant Brown in 30th. And then we have 33 drivers strong here this evening. Dante Curtis, Jeremy Brown, which I believe you just said he won last year. And then Ryan Nowicki going to be shotgun on the field.
Yeah, and I wasn't here, so I'm not sure if you talked about points yet or not, but is Alex McCollum in the field?
I did. We have Alex.
Because he's only got 9 starts to his name this season. And if he does not make it tonight, then he is not eligible for the chase, and that changes everything for those on the cutoff or right around it, like Beckner and Brad Slaughter. They're tied coming into this one. Swan's only 1 point back, that being Ryan Swan. 12 back is Dante Curtis, Chase Cabry, and there's no one outside the top 20 with a win that can point their way in, unless we get a new winner. It could very well happen tonight, and I'm not trying to sound biased. The name I'm looking at here, Jacob Bell, 5 starts at Talladega, 1 top 5, 4 top 10s. He knows how to get it done here. He knows how to put himself in the right spot. He could point his way into the top 20, but he would have to get a win as well. And he's not too far back from 20th in the standings. He's only 5 points back. So he could win tonight and then lock himself in as that wild card for the chase. And gosh, Alex McCollum not being here just changed everything heading into this one.
And remember last night, Jacob Bell was leading, I think, with 2 to go last night. I mean, it didn't end in a favorable manner, but he was in position to win that race. But again, the next-gen car with those runs, again, with the 5,000 SOF and, Coke-level talent in that series, it was just a chaotic finish. We're looking at about a 3.8K SOF here today. So even though it's the trucks, we still have some stout competition here today. And we'll see what happens. Our starting lineup, basically, I think 4 of the top 10 had a penalty. So it looks as though our actual front row is going to be Jonathan Evans, who started 5th, and Jeremy Miller 6. So row number 3 is going to take over the front row here. And you can see that long conga line as we will get one more pace lap. Basically behind Grant Brown, everybody here, single file. Those drivers are all the EOLs. And then compounded with that, which I was talking about, Hunter, we have, I believe it's like 7-ish. No, not all of them are here, but around 7 or so drive-through penalties. It will be pivotal and paramount for those drivers to pit together, so that way they could stay on the lead lap and have a little mini draft.
Yeah, Travis Beckner, one of them with drive-throughs. Chase Cabry, Hayden Swank. Is Ryan Andrew here?
He is. We do not have Chase
He also
Cabry.
has one. Oh, Chase Cabry's not here.
Ryan Andrew, he had a
Cole
penalty.
Cabry's in the field.
Yeah, I remember last week at Milwaukee, Chase Cabry. Was it Milwaukee? Where were we last week? I don't remember where we were last week. No, it was Kansas. Chase Cabry was a lap down for the whole race because we ran green. He had a penalty, never got to reset. As soon as he got finally back on the lead lap, he was wrecked out with about 10 laps to go in some of the last lap chaos there. So put him in a bad spot, and I don't know, maybe just busy. I don't know what's going on, but unfortunately he will not be in. But Brother Cole, well in spot to make some championship running happen. But 80 laps, a little shorter than last night. But just because it's shorter, that's just going to put the chaos in a lot smaller of a jar.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line here, looking at just how much this has changed heading into this one. Hayden Swank, he's in a good spot. He's 15 above the cut line, but he can't get himself in any carnage. Danny Ware, he's looking pretty good, 32 above the cut line. It's really just those guys like Beckner, Slaughter, Swan. They're all right there. Dante Curtis. You said Chase Cabry's here, or he's not here?
Chase is not.
Okay. Colin Tom might have a chance.
Absolutely. I think anybody within 20 points, either side of the spectrum, is going to be either on the bubble or at least has a plausible possibility. But we'll find all those answers out right now as we're in the restart box. Barney's going to get the flag waving, and we are Chase cut off racing here at Dega. And what happened to that outside line?
Whoever the third truck is just missed the ship.
Jalen Handcamp.
Not sure who that is.
67.
Well, at least you got 79 more laps to figure that out and have that not happen. But that spaced everything out on that outside lane. Now guys from the bottom are starting to go up to the outside lane. Why we see Jeremy Miller up front. And there goes that Toyota Tundra, I do believe, of Brad Slaughter trying to get in there, but he will be blocked.
Jeremy Miller, of course, has practice from last night's race, seeing how the moves he has to make, the top-to-bottom blocks, taking advantage of the lines. And here comes a plethora of those drivers who have the drive-through. Well, not a plethora. It's only 3 of them. Drive-through penalties, so they're not going to have to stop in their stall. They just got to keep chugging along, and those drivers will have to sort out who's going to lead, but they're going to have to get a little trio going and just hope for a caution. Because eventually 3 trucks compared to 30, they will go a lap down at some juncture. But up front, Brad Slaughter using the outside has the push of all pushes. That's the push of all pushes. Big wiggle. Now Conrath going to look to the outside with the help from Forrest Smith.
Yeah, Ryan Swan there with a big bump to Garrett Conrath. He's going to drop low now. Second in line on that bottom. Jeremy Miller behind him in third. And then you got the 26 of Jonathan Evans rolling there as well, and Miller's actually going to go top and try to lead that outside lane, try to generate a run and possibly lead a lap, but the 81 of Slaughter far enough out to where he can block both lanes.
Yeah, and I was talking while you were not quite in yet, Hunter. The trucks are known to be unstable, especially with pushing and with the aero. Of course, Cletus McFarland fans can attest to that. So expect the pushes to be a little bit more squirrely and some more uncomfortable moments. As speaking of uncomfortable, Brad Slaughter gets to be the turkey in the sandwich there. Meet in the middle, loses about 5 or 6 spots, waits to find the draft of somebody there in the middle of the pack. And now it's going to be Miller and Conrath with Swan and Evans rocking the bottom.
Yeah, they just kind of split the middle with Brad, and I thought that he was just going to be a sit and duck and falling, but he got picked up in line, and he's actually going to lead that third lane on the outside now, thanks to that help from, I want to say that's, no, it's actually Jeff Wilson in 85 truck, saved him, and now he's going to be on that outside lane. Miller is going to lead this time through. 3 wide for third. We see Swan, Forrest Smith also in the picture. Brad Slaughter again on that outside lane. Garrett Conrath, though, he's leading right now in that middle lane. Swan to the bumper of Jeremy Miller, trying to get back in front as they head down the back.
And here comes the run from the top. The third lane eventually came in last night. It's coming in early, and look at that 2-truck tandem. Dempster to Slaughter, with just behind that last night's winner, Josh Cottle. And then I see Brian Noel there. We did see one engine expire yesterday in the draft. It was Philip Groner. And that same issue will be prevalent tonight. Got to make sure those trucks can breathe. And that's Brad Slaughter. Tried to go up to the top and block the third lane. Got there a little late. And here comes Dempster on the top.
Yeah, major difference compared to last night's Cup race, where we had mostly 2-wide racing, some 3-wide action, but they're going right at it from the beginning here. 3x3 throughout the turns. Ryan Swan steering clear of the lead now as Miller went up, and now he's he's on that third lane. I would say fading, but they got a run last time through down the back, and he looks to be getting the same now from Cody Dempster in the 24. And Brad's actually getting a big push from Conrath back to the lead from the middle lane in the 3.
Yes, he is. And I will point out that Swank, Andrew, and Beckner, Chilcutt, 4 drivers there. They had their penalties. They are 26 seconds behind the lead, but I'll actually say they're running comparable times to the race leaders, so they may not go a lap down, but they will certainly would like to catch up at some point. As Brad Slaughter to the bottom of the track, and it's going to be Miller pushing, I believe, Conrath on the third lane here, as I think the third lane becoming a 2-lane situation as they will close up. And just as we saw last night, Hunter, we're full bumping across all 2.66 miles.
Exactly. Name of the game at Talladega. You have to bump draft, and got to do it in tight formations, tight bunches, tight pushes. We saw that a couple of times last night where one bad bump turns everything haywire. So I think the trucks, it's a little bit better. These bumpers are a little more squared up, so we might not have that issue. But we're seeing out the rear from Conrath there. Slaughter pushing him through. Going to see a lot more wiggling, though, with these trucks on the bottom.
The aero in the trucks is a little bit more edgy from what I've been told. I mean, perhaps some people will say that I'm wrong, but again, just watch the real world, how many self-spins we saw over the course of these races. Rear air grief, as we call it here in the simulator. So one bad bump definitely can go astray, but as you said, the bumpers are a little bit better, so it gives you at least that little bit of reprieve. But the third lane has fallen back. Do have a good sized chain of single file here. That's Grant Brown, Josh Parrish, who else? We have Danny Ware, Garrett Grant, pardon me. I don't know how much of that is just riding it out and waiting for something to maybe or maybe not happen, but not a bad strategy just to kind of ride and chill for now.
Yeah, that's a pretty plausible strategy there. I mean, it's lap 7, about to come to lap 8. There's still so much of the race left that we haven't even made pit stops yet. Some guys made drive-thrus, but that could be a blessing in disguise now that I'm thinking about it with those drive-thrus, because we might have to make pit stops under green. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but as unfortunate as it may seem for those with EOLs, it's a little bit of practice for getting up to speed. And Brad, he's dropping out. He wants no part of this whatsoever. He's led his laps, and he knows what he's capable of. So he's going to put that in the memory bank for later as he falls outside the top 15.
So it's either one of two things there that I wonder. It could either be A, that he's satisfied with his experience. He's learned what the truck will do and what it won't do as Cole Cabry leads, or he had to emergency bail to evade blowing up the engine. Might be a little bit of A, a little bit of B. But what we do know is Cole Cabry had the lead and very quickly does not have the lead, as now we'll give it to Forrest Smith, who has some blinking, and we saw that go astray last night with Van Drugman causing some utter chaos. Looks as though we're going to have a bunch of lead changes. If you're watching this race live on YouTube or Twitch, put in the chat, what do you think the lead change number is going to be at the end of 80-plus laps here this evening? Thus far, it is already a quite plentiful number as Jeremy Miller looking to get it again. And there goes Jeff Wilson rocking the top.
Yeah, we usually average about 39 lead changes, so make of that what you will in the chat. But Forrest Smith putting himself in a good position to come through with a solid finish tonight. But yeah, Jeff Wilson, we mentioned it on that outside lane. He's found the groove. He's found some rhythm. He's found Cody Dempster in the 24. Josh Cobble, the winner from last night in the Cup Series, leading that outside lane. He's trying to get a little something going, but for now it's Jeremy Miller leading through the middle into turn 1.
Absolutely, as we're getting a little slicey and dicey. Now, of course, the difference between Daytona and Talladega, and now even Atlanta can get thrown into that mix, is we do have basically 5 lanes here. There's 3 painted lanes, but realistically, you could go 5 wide here. 4 wide is essentially what 3 wide is at Daytona. It's doable but tight. But 3 wide here at Talladega, with the right group of guys, which this certainly could be that, it's a walk in the park. So plenty of room on each side, but you still have to be mindful of the air, the bumps, and making sure that you're clear when you make your moves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, the margin for error here is so slim, from being getting away with disaster to becoming a big one. And I'm not sure if the bottom lane didn't get the good push or if they had a moment, but they're starting to fall back just a bit. Jeremy Miller now on that outside lane, and there goes Ryan Swan. He's one of those that's on the cutoff. Same with
somebody else.
Yeah, he was
that's Forrest Smith.
That was. Forrest Smith. He had a bit of a different way to peel off than Ryan Swan there. Swan willingly went off. I'm not sure if Forrest Smith had any choice but to swerve to evade action, but we'll have to take a look at a quick replay.
Yeah, I want to see, did he get put in a bad position, or was that like an emergency, I need air? And that's what it was. That could have been connection, or that could be Jordan Sparks. He could not breathe with no air. We don't quite know, but we do have a little bit of single file racing up front. I mean, I say three rows of it. That's more than we've seen at many points here in today's race. Don't have any numbers on the pit stops. Usually, again, 38 to 40 laps if we do go green. So this should be, I think it could be a one-stop race. But as we know here at Talladega, as Cody Dempster looking at the top, you burn a lot more fuel, Hunter, when you're leading than when you do maybe when you're Jacob Harberts or Garrett Grant, Jacob Bell. You use a lot more fuel up front than when you do coasting in the back.
Yeah, that's another thing that, well, I mentioned it last night, but I don't think it was as effective as tonight might be. But you're up front, you're going to burn more fuel. You're in the back, you can get the draft, and that can help you save some fuel. Running on board with Jacob Bell here on the outside lane. He's creeping up towards that top 10. He's one that knows his way around these super speedway races. He had a good shot last night before all calamity ensued, but looking to put himself in a good spot again. He needs to win to make it into the playoffs. Early to chase him.
That's big jump.
Thinking about those guys like Slaughter, like Swan, Forrest Smith, they pulled out. They were up front. They were behind this wreck. I don't think any of them were involved in it.
Let's try to dissect what happened here from the top-down perspective. I know I saw Brian Noel. He's right there going 4 wide with Jeremy Miller to his rear. Oh, no. 47 got a bad bump, I think, off of somebody who I could not discern. It is very difficult here, and I don't even think it was a 47. We'll try to look one more time. It is a 47. Who's the number 47? It's Dawson Miller. Look a little closer to Dawson. He has Jonathan Evans to his rear in that chrome STP truck. Kind of got squeezed in the wall-ish.
I don't even think he got hit from behind.
One more look at it. The tightest shot that we can basically muster here. That's Jacob Bell in front of him. Here's the
Looked like
tight
he
four
was-
wide.
It looked like he was squirrely right there, like he didn't know.
He hit the wall and then kind of bounced
Huh.
down a little bit. And then you can see Cole Cabry, Jeremy Miller, Jeremy Brown, I think. This is the benefit for the guys who were in the back single file and those drive-through guys, is they were all the way in the back. No real worry.
Oh yeah, the drive-through guys were probably the safest ones there. So the first yellow of the day has come out just after lap 10, I believe. Lap 13, the yellow came out. So guys are going to be able to calm down, cool down, relax, and come down pit road.
Admin R&D calling that a racing deal. It was a tight squeeze and a little tap to the wall, as kind of very dusty pit road here at Talladega. I got to get one of those Air Titans or jet dryers to clean this track off, but luckily grip is not of the... Oh no! Somebody got turned into the pits there. That was Josh Caudill.
Wilson too.
Don't usually see that kind of stuff at Talladega. Usually you kind of see that stuff more out of short track. But we're having some pit chaos here today at Talladega.
Oh.
Yeah, Carson Burrows there just kind of misread when he was going to pit and gave him a little punterooski there.
Now, I don't know if Jeff Wilson actually got some damage in that. He did miss his pit box, but I don't know if he got damage or if he was looking at his rear and had to gas it up a little just to avoid getting hit in case there was any damage. But regardless, he's going to lose a lot of time from that. And running order is going to be all mumbo jumbo.
Now, we do have two drivers, interestingly enough, who drove through the pits without actually pitting. And that is Grant Brown as well as Dante Curtis. The first one to actually get off of pit road with tangible service done was Jacob Bell. So we'll see what happens to Grant Brown and if they do choose to pit. Grant Brown, someone who we kind of were talking about, basically his only way in is to get a win. He is 20th in the points, but 31 behind the cut line. The mathematics may physically allow him to get in there, but realistically, kind of win or bust for that number 14.
100%. Looking through, those guys are going to come down pit road now.
Oh, is this a lap lead point? Do you think that's what he's going for here?
Well, no, if he pits, he won't even get it.
Well, let's see if scoring gave it to him last time through. It did. But Jacob Bell will get himself a lap lead point. And as you talked about with him, he's another win or bust. But you've talked about his credentials here at the super speedways. So he certainly has plausibility. And of course, what better time than ever to talk about Blue Tip Pool Builders, as that vehicle is leading the charge right now. Of course, it's a little late in the season as we head to the greatest summer holiday of the season, but you can get your pool touched up, you can get it cleaned, you can get your outdoor area looking all nice and tidy and good for entertaining with Blue Tip Pool Builders. They have cutting edge technology with skilled craftsmen to get your outdoor, your pool, your outdoor lounging, or outdoor kitchen area looking the way that it should. You can head to bluetippools.com for more information. As it's going to also be, I always get confused because it's Douglas Newbigging on the yesterday, who another driver who had a chance to win, but tonight that 71 is occupied by Chase Swank, as he will be outside of the front row here, and another driver 30 points out, another one of the win or bust vehicles on Lucky Duck.
Yeah, pretty much. He needs to win. He is 30 points behind the cut line, but again, if he wins and he's still top 20 in points, that will get him into the chase as a wild card. And Jacob Bell as well, mentioned him. He last ran in season 5. He finished in the top 10 in the 8th spot. He We saw it last night, and we've seen it time and time again on these super speedways, whether it's in the Cup car or in the trucks. He knows how to put himself in a good spot at the end of these races. So the fact that he's up here, he's taking a big risk, getting laps led, that's good. He's got a bonus point for that. Could come down to the very end, so who knows. But he's going to be restarting as the leader. Now this will be our first look at the restarts. Now, last night, the inside lane, for some reason, they would not go. The outside lane, it was the preferred lane to be in, even though they weren't leading. We'll see if tonight's a different tale as Jacob Bell leads us back under green.
And on the loud pedal, and there's the jump. 77 gets the jump. 49 will tag along about a 1 truck length back. But as we know here at Talladega and all super speedways as a whole, you don't want to get a good restart gap, because then once they get up to speed, you are going to be not a lucky duck, but a sitting duck. And right now, Jacob Bell reappears, luckily, before the field gets back to him. And you can see the spread out action in the back. I don't know if those are all damaged trucks or if they just didn't catch up in time, but we are a little bit more spread out on this restart.
Yeah, just a tad bit more. We're almost dragging.
That was Josh Parrish in that orange number 55. Ryan Andrew in the purple truck in the bottom of the racetrack. Chase Swank, remember, he restarted on the outside of row 1, and now he's already back outside of the top 10. And you can see just the back of the shot here, how many drivers are single file, and we already have, about 6 to 8 drivers behind the pack out of the draft. Whether that's damage or intentional, we don't quite know, but we are 2 by 2 now, 3 by 3 in the second pack. And Jacob Bell leading the top pack as you got a couple truck lengths separating these little mini groups.
After that little skaggle going in the 3 last time through, I think some guys are just run single file and others still going door to door. We see throughout the field some more side-by-side action closer towards the front. Garrett Grant is pushing Ryan Andrew in that purple 88 truck. Try to remember it this time and make sure that he's known towards the finish of this one. But inside the top 10, both those guys are on board with the 5 of Grant. Again, Area's Ironman. He's got the most starts in history in Area, and it's been a while since he's won in any Area series, as there's another truck blinking. I think that was Kyle Taub there on the bottom.
Now, hopefully, I know we saw Cole Hooper, I know we saw Van Druggen. Hopefully it's not a systemic issue and it is just isolated to a certain few drivers, though we hope that they can get that situated. But up front, Cody Dempster is not a newbie to the lead. He's already led, I think, once or twice today, and now he's going to take the push from Parrish as well as Ryan Andrew, and then Travis Beckner and Chase Swank. He was just outside of the top 10. Now he's somewhere in the top 10. Of course, it varies with each second that goes by, but Parrish looking low. I can't quite tell. He might be going for air. He might be going for a move, but now Ryan Andrews with the run from Beckner up top.
Yeah, big run there for Ryan Andrews. He's going to put him into the lead. Travis Beckner, well, he's got some help behind. Brad Slaughter's coming through. Those two, again, close on the cutoff heading into this one. Dawson Miller there on the third lane, but Ryan Andrew in the purple truck leading his way through as we're starting to get a little more wide. And Dawson Miller almost had a moment there. Not sure who was behind him, but that was almost a bad bump.
That was, I believe, Cole Cabry. Yes, it was. And we know Cole's certainly not one to waste time and mess around. He wants to get back to the front. He has all the skill and all the speed to be able to get there. Ryan Andrew peeling down, heading into the pits by his lonesome here. No black flag. I'm not sure, this could be a technical failure. This could be some kind of emergency or something, but a massive unexpected pit stop there by the 88, but that will give Travis Beckner the race lead.
Yeah, not really sure what happened there, but we'll try to follow up on that in a minute. But meanwhile, you mentioned Travis Beckner is leading.
Out of the race, through. Ryan Andrew.
Oh, wow. So that's huge. The winner from a week ago is out of the race after running in the lead. Not sure for what, but maybe another time we'll try to dissect that. But Travis Beckner leading through. Garrett Conrath in the middle. got help from Brad Slaughter in that middle lane, but on the bottom, it's Cody Dempster pushing Travis Beckner to the lead here as we are a quarter of the way done with Talladega.
Yep, still about 50 or so minutes of racing here, so raced these 52-second lap times. These trucks a lot slower than the Cup cars, which kind of got up to about 195. We're peaking out at around 181. Going around 52 seconds. We do have some laps in the 51 seconds. You get that what we call a suck-up lap. You can see a Jonathan Evans there at a 51.8. And the leader is at a 52.5, because again, the draft works a lot better when you are trying to come from behind than when you are leading the charge. And speaking of coming from behind, 5 drivers have lost the pack. No, it is 5. I can count. The 2 Jeremys, Brown and Miller, Noel, Nowicki, and Chilcutt, pardon me. They have lost the pack for one reason or another, and we'll see if they have an opportunity to get back into it. But Cody Dempster will lead things through, taking lap number 23. Parrish and Bell, and now they'll drop to the bottom here.
Again in line there. Ooh.
No, I was just going to say there, Hunter, usually I always expect, and we didn't see it last night, and I don't expect to see it here today. Usually there's always a period in these plate races where we just kind of, as I call it, kill laps, where things just kind of calm down. Everyone realizes, we got to get to the end to be able to race for what matters. But I have a strong suspicion that's not going to happen tonight.
I think it will. I think we're in the middle of it right now. We're mostly 2 wide. There's a little 3 wide, but actually there's only 1 3 wide, and that's not even going to last for another lap or 2. But, we're mostly single file. There's some side-by-side racing here, but other than that, no one's really being real aggressive. We got some momentum on the outside lane trying to get going. Chase Swank and Brad Slaughter. Remember Chase Swank restart on that front row, had a gaggle on that restart, but he's rallied himself back up towards the top 5. It's giving Brad Slaughter some momentum, and Cody Dempster sees that. He's going to block it. Brad's going to go above, and now Dempster, he's going to get picked up here by Jacob Harberts in the 80.
See if the 81 tries to go all the way down to the bottom of the track. He does not. I think he was clear for a millisecond, but that is no longer. And maybe that little cool down period, that by laps, gave us 2 laps. They got a chance to take a breath, reset their hands on the steering wheel, dry off the sweat, and now we're back at it with the white knuckle 3x3x3 action here. Taking lap number 25. It's going to be Slaughter up front with Chase Swank in the 71. Luckily, everyone is doing a good job as they get really tight squeeze there in the middle of the corner, but no engine expiries, no huge wrecks, and we do have some single file chains toward the end of this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And as soon as I say, I don't think we'll see 3-wide action, we see a lot of 3-wide action now. Slaughter leading the way. Chase Swank in second. Handcamp had that moment on the initial start. He's back in third, trying to rally the troops on the bottom, get a little bit of a run with. That is, I want to say that's Josh Parrish. Well, he moved up to the middle lane now, but now he's moved back to the bottom. Yeah, Josh Parrish moving all over. Brad Slaughter, though, back in control at Dega.
I think Josh Parrish went to the Van Druggen school and the Dylan Alt school, because we saw them being a master class of those aggressive lane changes last night. There's the push from Handcamp. I know one of our viewers was pulling for that number 6-7 to get into victory circle here. And I mean, really, anybody within this blob has a realistic chance to be able to get that done here at Talladega. Still have at least one more pit stop, probably 2 if my math is correct. I think we'll have one more stop and then maybe a splash and go at minimum would be required here. But Parrish, not a slouch on the push, is getting right to the back bumper of Brad Slaughter there, trying to get that inside rolling.
Yeah, doing his best there on the bottom. Cole Cabrey now leading his way from the middle down to the bottom. Trevor Edwards in the 32 now, coming through with Josh Cottle in the 13, and there's one truck back there trying to move up in the third lane. Not sure who, but it's not really going anywhere. The 14, though, of Grant Brown. We saw him come down pit road before we got back going. He's back inside the top 5 now, and making quite the progress as someone back there is trying to make it 3 wide. That's Jacob Harberts in the 80.
Jacob Harberts, he was one to watch last night, made some good moves, had some good racing going on, but not getting anywhere quite yet. He had a push from Jonathan Evans. Evans kind of got the short end of the stick there because Handcamp pulled in the line to get 2x2, and there wasn't a room for the 26, so a lot of drivers surpassing to the inside. Dawson Miller, we talked about him a few times, and there's the start of that single file train. Starts with Ben Pierce in the number 65 aftermarket coffee Dodge Ram. Then you find Danny Ware, Hayden Swank, Jeff Wilson. And I guess that those single file guys even want to get battling here.
Yeah, some guys want to get up towards the front and get some track position. They're starting to get a lot more squirrely up here. A lot more guys coming out 2 wide. For the most part, 3 in the middle, trying to, but it's Josh Carr leading the way now. Mentioned Grant Brown in the 14 East pushing him, but on the bottom, Trevor Edwards getting some massive momentum pushes from the 54 Cole Cabrey and Brad Slaughter as well.
I'm looking here at that second pack all the way in the back with the 2 Jeremys. They are close enough that they might actually still be able to get into the lead draft as we're 3x3 up front. They're 1.4 seconds behind the pack. I think that's doable. They may be able to draft themselves up there, running about 3/10 faster than the pack, so they should actually be able to make this a 29 truck lead draft. As now we aren't just 3 wide, Hunter, we're tight 3 wide, all within those first 2 hash marks, really squeezing each other, trying to get those side drafts, and I do see some single truck lappers here not too far into the future.
Yeah, it seems like eventually we'll get up to them at some point. Brad Slaughter might be the first to do so. Could be wrong. There's Josh Cottle going to jump to the bottom. Try to get around the 81 of Slaughter there. He's going to be leading the middle lane. It's still Trevor Edwards in the 32 truck leading on that bottom lane. The 12, though, of Carson Burrows. We haven't mentioned him tonight. He's jumped up inside the top 10, trying to put himself in a better position there. 3rd truck on the outside lane.
He is doing a good job here. I think he was involved in the pit road skirmish that we saw on that first major pit stop cycle, but obviously no damage, no issues to be had. And now we are exactly 3x3x3 for the race lead here at Talladega. I know they talked in the driver chat about going 4x4. Well, we haven't seen that yet, but this 3x3x3 for the entirety of the lead pack, that's about 24 trucks in 1 second of interval here. This is absolutely incredible white knuckle racing. A little bit of a stack up to the back. I saw Chase Swank in the 71 in Handcamp get a little bumper happy there, but we are carrying through with some phenomenal stuff, Hunter.
Yeah, the middle lane was bottled up there coming out of turn 4, and it's allowed the top and the bottom lanes to persevere. Cole Cabrey on the bottom, Brad Slaughter up top, and thinking about going low with Grant Brown, so those two now going to jump to the middle lane. It's Carson Burrows leading that outside lane now.
And he has the help with Jonathan Evans, and now Brad Slaughter, and I think Grant Brown trying to take the momentum. No, they decided not to, but now here goes Slaughter to the top of the track. Grant Brown won't be able to, but now that opens up the door and the momentum for Cole Cabrey. Slaughter's not going to be able to go high-low. He could just go high-middle. Opens the door for the 54, who has his teammate Trevor Edwards behind him, but not close enough to help out with the draft. And we will have the first lapper to get into the mix here. That's going to be Forrest Smith. Talked about you can go 4 wide here, and he's blinking. That's only going to add salt to the wound. Hopefully we can get through this just fine.
Yeah, he was running up front too, and then he pulled down a line because he was blinking a lot, and that wreck happened. I thought he would be in a better spot, but apparently not so. And well, that's an interesting way of going around the lap truck, and I guess everyone's going to do that on the bottom. That's a really unique way to do it, and they're going to lose time from that. That's going to allow that 26 of Jonathan Evans to cut down low. Harbert's low as well. That maneuver around Forrest Smith really shook up the bottom lane.
Of course, you have to remember 54 being a number that KB rocked, Kyle Busch, and there was that infamous lap here, I think in 2010, where he qualified in the truck here at Talladega and wrapped the apron for the entire lap. He just wanted to see if he could do it, even though it was slow. That's what that reminded me of. in short order. The next one on the chopping block is going to be Zachary Nerney. Haven't talked about him yet here today. He is chugging along at a slow pace, so he will be swallowed up in no time. Now we are 4 wide, and now that quickly gets down to 3. That was Carson Burrows in a tight spot. 28 of Beckner, trying to get closer to the 26 of Evans to get that third lane rolling.
Yeah, depending on where they catch this lap truck, it might be chaotic if it's in the middle of the turn, but I don't think they're going to get it this lap. Next lap, they might have a good chance at catching up with them, but Brad Slaughter, again, might be the first one to find that lap truck. Grant Brown in the 14. He won't be. He'll be behind the 81 of Slaughter as Jonathan Evans and Travis Beckner work their way through. And lap truck's actually going to pull off before they get to turn 1.
And he actually slowed down and got off the pace to ensure he got cleared by the field. Now, he is 1 lap down. Nerney is. He's going to be battling with Forrest Smith to try to stay in the lucky dog position. Forrest Smith right there. So Nerney, he has to stay in the draft and try to battle with that number 15 truck if we get a caution to get back into the swing of things. And I say if we get a caution, odds are likely. The big one is inevitable. It happened a couple times last night, namely at the end and on the last lap. But we are seeing some of the best truck racing, some of the best, as DW called it, co-opetition. Drivers are racing aggressive, but they're not putting each other in precarious spots, which was what we love to see. And hopefully we can see more of it here, especially once the chase happens. But 20 laps through, I'd expect about halfway through the fuel cell.
Yeah, we're looking at the laps there since we restarted here. And for some of these guys that came down pit road, we're north of 20 laps. So again there, the tires are starting to wear a bit more, and guys are starting to get a little more dicey with their moves. But no harm, no foul just yet. The top 3, Slaughter, Beckner, and Jonathan Evans on that outside lane, they're all going to merge towards the bottom with Carson Burrows. So the top 4 all moving at the same length. Meanwhile, they're 3 wide behind them for 5th.
Yeah, we aren't seeing that Dale Jr. line run here in the trucks as we saw in the next gen. Of course, again, they were running faster, so there's more momentum to wrap. It's more advantageous to run in the next gen, I do believe, but we are seeing them run in the middle, Beckner and Slaughter. And outside of a couple rows here, we are largely starting to kind of get to more, dare I say, to Talladega standards, relaxed racing here as we are approaching the halfway point. And I don't think that's going to last. It didn't last last time. Travis Beckner, I don't know if he's trying to go for air or if he's trying to get the lead. But he was peeking out of line for a brief moment.
Yeah, only brief, as he's jumped up to 2nd now, but he doesn't want to put himself or Brad Slaughter in a bad spot because those two are on the bubble. Really precarious position heading into tonight's event. But they're running 1-2 right now. Best thing that they could have hoped for. And they're just logging laps in and getting closer and closer to halfway.
Yeah, ironically, this is probably one of the longer runs we've had in weeks at Talladega of Truck Series racing. We had some great racing at Kansas for a moment in time last week. And who is that? That's Dawson Miller going to the top of the racetrack with an aggressive push, I believe, from Jeremy Brown. Remember, I talked about that second pack. They were running quicker than the lead pack, and they have managed to catch up, and now they're in the thick of it here. The two Jeremys and company. There goes Josh Parrish up to take the run from Cole Cabry. But we now have a lead pack that is 29 trucks long. And actually, I'd say 31 because you have Forrest Smith and Zach Nerney off the lead lap, but in this lead pack.
Got still with a fighting chance there, and don't want to fall too far out of the draft, otherwise you're really not going to be in a good spot and going to have to rely on the yellow to help you get out of that pickle. But bottom lane starting to come through. Chase Swank again in the 71, getting the run on the bottom, and top 3 is still running in the middle. We're going to be approaching another lap truck. That 47 of Dawson Miller has been trying on that outside lane. There's only one other truck with him now, and I do believe that is Jeremy Brown in the 46 truck with him. they're trying to get something going, but Dawson's going to fall into line, and Jeremy, now the only one in that third lane, is going to be getting in line here.
That's going to be the next on the chopping block all the way to the outside. You can see him running. That's Dante Curtis, the next to go one lap down. Admin did not give any issues for that 54 going below the yellow. Just kind of said don't pass like that in the future, but was glad everybody was able to get by safely. So as you can tell now, the lapper going all the way to the high side. They'll predominantly catch him on the straightaway, which is good. Josh Parrish making a run to the inside. Well, we are halfway, and Hunter, I don't know about you, I'm feeling like doing something risky right now. And if you watch PTR TV, you know whenever we crank the engine sounds up, typically something happens. But I got faith that we're going to do a temporarily loud engines, and we are going to enjoy the thunder, and we're not going to wreck. Well, we did it. We ran a PTR TV temporarily loud engines, and we keep things headed in the right direction and at full pace. These truck drivers have been doing a bang-up job here today at Talladega. I think we've only been slowed down, what is it, twice, maybe? Maybe once or twice, not many times at all. Seen a lot of lead changes, a lot of battles, a lot of lane changing, but we haven't seen a lot of wrecking, and that's what we love to see as we're past the halfway point, roughly 15 or so laps away, probably on the lower side of that, of what would be a green flag stop, which will get us to the end, as things are getting a little tight there as we're migrating to the bottom.
Well, we're 4 wide with Jeremy Brownie trying to get in line, but to no avail. And
oh, body slam there. Well, hockey season's over, but we're body checking on the trial.
Yeah, that's why line just kind of broke up as well.
Yeah, again, we were talking about off air and on air about buying laps, kind of getting in line, letting the race just come to you. And we've seen that. We've seen kind of little relaxation, recharge moments where these guys are probably a little mentally winded out. They just kind of go single file for a lap or two, and then we're back to crazy 3 wide. But now we're running the top of the track, the old Dale Jr. line. But I will say, Hunter, you go back maybe to, I think that's Bryce Senesac, that we have a very long, probably the longest single file train we've had tonight.
Oh, car coming through in the middle. That was Josh Parrish in the 55 truck, but yeah, Travis Spector has been up and down throughout this top 10 tonight. He's on the back half of it at the moment. Parrish in that 55 with Cody Dempster behind. getting that middle lane going down the back, but Brad Slaughter back in control. Jonathan Evans behind him with Ryan Nowicki jumping up to the top 5, and then jumping below him, Grant Brown, and now there goes Evans to the low side in the 3.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a cross-up there. I think that was one go up, one go down, what looked like at the same time. But there's Grant Brown. He led a lap under caution, but now he's trying to do it under green. He's another one of those drivers who's in kind of a win or bust scenario. Ryan Nowicki, he started shotgun on the field in that VOC Esports, I believe it to be Silverado. Of course, last night was the VOC Esports 250 for the Studio Temporary Cup Series race, but Slaughter has been probably the guy who's led the most laps here today. He has been able to manage the runs, has led 18 laps, which is nearly about a little over a third of the race. But unfortunately for him, we have just over half of it left to go.
The Slaughter Gang CEO controlling things here at Talladega, kind of a home track for Brad. Close enough to him. Well, it's from Georgia, but it's one of his favorite tracks to visit and to race on the service. Been able to win here on the Cup side of things. Has yet to do so in Truck or the Pro Series, so still has those boxes to check off here, but he's doing a solid job tonight. I would say he's probably led the most laps out of anyone in this field thus far. Still, 35 laps remaining here for Brad to try and cap it off with a solid win, but he's got Jonathan Evans, he's got Grant Brown and Jalen Hankamp behind, and behind them, someone's blinking. That's not good.
Yeah, absolutely not. Again, we saw multiple wrecks stem from it last night. You just were too close to have an unknown factor. No X factors needed at Talladega. The X factor is just the unknown of what move your competitors are going to make. So coming through now, 30 laps to go, right on the cusp. A lot of drivers singling out, probably prepping for that pit stop. We have a lot of team affiliations, and we have pit stops right now. Jeremy Miller in the 30 heading into the pits.
Austin Miller as well coming on through.
Jacob Bell
as well.
Now, this requires a lot of coordination there, Hunter. It requires you got to nail your stop. You got to all be on the same strategy, because you have to come in and come out in the same way that you... Basically, you got to exit with the people that you came in with. You don't want to be at a gap. You got to keep that draft the way that it needs to be.
Pretty much the same guys you come in with, you also want to come out with as well. So those three are going to have to make sure that they're all lined up together and that they don't lose the draft from each other, because that's going to put them in a really rough spot. But still, it's a sign of things to come as a large portion of the field's coming down pit road.
Now, this requires utter coordination, cooperation, and a very good job of it. Now, we're 3 wide on entry, so that's a little bit sketchy. We saw one spin out in the pits already. Got to put that together and not get in each other's way too much, and they did a bang-up job of that. Let's see how many drivers left on the track. We have Noel. We have Chase Swank. Nowicki still have about 8 drivers here in this lead draft.
And that last time through, a lot of guys coming in together, all bunched up, and
who did we lose?
Don't think there will be much issues. Dawson Miller was not there with the 30 and the 77. They are 2 truck tangoing away from everybody else, as here come the rest of the guys on the lead lap to come down pit road.
And so far, so good, and more importantly, so far so good, but we also haven't seen any black flags show up on the screen, so that is a good job, showing that these guys have mastered the speed limit. But let's see how we blend out. This is Jonathan Evans and Brad Slaughter, first and second. And you can see the long conga line all throughout as we come through. Now, eventually, these drivers should all rubber band back together. Well, maybe not there. That's Ryan Swan. He'll probably fall back, so I think we're going to come in as one big pack, maybe end up as 2, but we'll see how it all comes back together.
Yeah, it's really crazy how all those guys are coming together in that tight of a space next to each other, and they didn't wreck. Haven't seen any speed penalties. I don't think anyone missed their pit box or had to jump it in reverse or pull in further, but phenomenal job from these guys pitting on the green. Like I mentioned earlier, those guys that had those drive-throughs, a little bit of pit practice, because you never know, we could have, well, I spoke too soon. Jeff Wilson has the black flag. Okay. For the most part, everybody came through okay.
Yeah, I mean, 1 out of 29, 30, that's still a very good percentage. I won't try to calculate that percentage because that's well beyond my skill set. But now, what are we at here in this lead draft? We're down 12. We still have one driver peeling off. I think that is Jeff Wilson. It is heating to his black flag, which, if he can get a caution, it might not be the end of the world, but he'll need it pretty quick. As Nerdy going to the outside, I do believe that is. And now it gets a little bit trickier there, Hunter, because now you only have 12 trucks, so the energy is different. There's not as much ability to make those 3x3s just due to pure number of vehicles. So now you kind of have to change how you're going to draft to a certain extent.
Yeah, still got a lot of laps left and coming to 30 to go this time through. Brad Slaughter going to be in control of it, and these guys, again, they're just going to have to log laps and try to save their stuff up for the last 10 laps or so. And a lot of guys spread out from this point on. Obviously, a yellow could happen and bunch everyone back up. But for now, it's these first 12 trucks that are in contention for a good finish.
And then we go back a little further. You find the first person in the next little mini pack. That's going to be Ben Pierce. Then we have Hayden Swank, Garrett Grant, Danny Ware. Then we go back to a third pack where you find Senesac, Chilcutt, Dawson Miller, Chase Wank, Ryan Swan. And then a little two-truck tango, Noel and Nowicki. And then you go back to another little quartet, I believe we would call this, of Edwards, Cabry, Harberts, and Caudell. Now, some of this is just bad timing. Some of this might be... No, actually, all of this was 4 tires and fuel. So this was all a matter of just pit execution.
Absolutely. Pit execution really coming through here for these guys that are bunching up. And now we're starting to see some more guys from that second pack come through and put themselves right up with this main pack. I want to say about maybe 17, 18 cars. We got 12 in this lead pack right here. Carson Burrows being the last. Actually, no. Is it more than that now? I think we've added to it. So, yeah, now we're up to 16. Yeah, because you're right on the number there. So this is a little bit more energy. So when we had 12, I was a little... And actually, are we going to be adding some more to this? Because look at Senesac, Chilcutt. Not quite sure. Actually, let's look at this, Hunter. We were running 52 flats, 52 fives earlier. Why are these leaders running 54s right now? Do we need to be... No, we're not fuel saving. That's a next-gen real-life thing, Hunter. Are we fuel saving in the trucks? Oh, we're almost wrecking there. Garrett Grant, there's a lot of guys that are just bottlenecking up back there, but my guess, possibly, could be saving fuel 55? In case we get some late race yellows.
Now, let's put this on screen for you folks. You can see on the ticker, but we'll just show it on an individuality basis. We are 4 seconds off the pace right now. So we talk about what the next gen is. NASCAR has done crazy things.
Yeah, a lot of absurdity is happening right now because the front two are driving away from everyone from about a second. There are some guys here that are preserving fuel by going slower. That's why we're seeing slower lap times. So Handcamp and Conrad, they're gone at the moment, but they're doing this because there's the possibility for late race yellows with how long we've gone green.
52.9, so that is, they are, actually that time by, they were only about 0.3 faster. So I think they are starting to kind of pressure everybody into doing something else. Chilcutt, Swank, Taub. So either they hit their number or they've given up on trying to make it. We don't know which one it is, but I really want to watch this play through because this could get interesting. Remember, this isn't just a battle for the win and pride. This is a battle for some guys trying to strategy their way into the chase.
Yeah, and like I said, some of these guys are saving fuel possibly for a late race yellow. We've already gone green long enough, and 6 of our 7 truck races here have had a green-white checkered finish, so could be a little something to do with that. Some guys, though, in this 3rd through, I want to say 8th pack up here, they're on the loud pedal. They're trying to catch back up to the leader. Everybody else back here is just kind of running conservatively from Garrett Green on back.
Let's go on board with Chilcutt. Now, this is what you call a suck-up lap. Look at that number. Just go down and down and down to the next position. Remember, we saw the 67 and the 49 just drive off into oblivion with that 2-truck tango. And again, we as comms don't necessarily know what's going on. We don't know if maybe they hit their number. iRacing does provide a very in-depth fuel calculator. There are other apps that provide fuel calculations. Some of these drivers have live spotters and live teammates helping them make these decisions. And we hear it in the real world all the time, Hunter, where they'll say you got to save for 4 laps, then you can go. You got to save for 10 laps, then you can go. Perhaps some of these guys either gave up or they got the go flag.
Yeah, it's really kind of turned this race on top of its head. Not a lot of yellows, only 1 yellow on the night, green flag pit stops, and then this fuel saving strategy where really just put my head in a top already. I mean, I don't usually call truck series races, and I think last week to finish I was evident, but this already is making me start to lose my marbles a little bit, but I still know how many laps we have left. It's 24 to go at the line.
And luckily for you, you won't have to do the math at about 4 laps because it does change over at 20 to go. But what we haven't done a good job of here today is covering some of our area partners. I know we already talked about Blue Tip Pool Builders. And now where is Ryan Swan? Because he will lead me into the next one. Oh, Ryan, where is he? I know he's in here somewhere. He's down there in 27th. He blinked. I'm trying to do an ad read, Ryan. You can't blink when I'm trying to do an ad read. Of course, rickshotsauce.com, some of the best hot sauces in South Florida. Golden Garlic, Lokahatchee Classic, Palm Beach Pineapple, and South Beach Heat. And you can check them out, of course, rickshotsauce.com, and we'll see who will win that Cup Series $100 prize on Monday nights for the Rookie of the Year. And Ryan Swan, don't count him out. We saw last night you could be pretty deep in the pack and still get yourself a checkered flag.
Yeah, he is right around the drivers that he needs to be racing around. Brad Slaughter, Travis Beckner. I don't think Ryan has led any laps. I know Travis has. I know Brad has. Brad might have the most laps led at the moment, but they're all racing around each other. If there's no winner inside the top 20 in points or put themselves inside the top 20 in points, 2 of those 3 drivers would make it between Swan, Beckner, and Slaughter.
That's Garrett Conrath, who just got thrown out on the laundry hanger there and is out to pasture here. We are getting information from a driver in the field who is texting and driving, but we do appreciate the information. And we are being told that most everybody is 1 lap short. Some drivers are saving harder than others. So some drivers are just probably realizing they have no chance. Some people are trying to hit the bubble. Some people are just praying for the yellow. And I think all 3 possibilities are very well plausible here. Either you might just run out, maybe you have to pit, or maybe this will all mean nothing if we end up astray here, as we will come to 20 laps to go. And I think this might be the first lap led for the 80 here tonight. Jacob Harbert's on the outside.
I just think all that said, it might mean nothing. Because, I mean, there's still a lot of laps left, and you're telling me that everyone's going to be clean and green and single file and cozying up. I don't think that's Talladega, but it seems like the intensity level has picked up quite a bit. These guys are just like, we're going to go for it now. Just outside of 20 to go.
Indeed the case here. Again, last night, Josh Cottle got the win. Can he try to go back-to-back? I know sweeping the weekend in area is probably something that hasn't been done too many times. I'm sure there might be a stat for that somewhere, but trying to go back-to-back in area, that's been done, but not by Josh Cottle. He's there in position to do so, but Again, we have so many drivers that are in different positions. Let's bring up our cut line graphic as Brian Noel goes to the bottom of the track, and you can see some of these drivers who need to make something happen. Ryan Swan, Dante Curtis, he is a lap down. Chase Cabry not here. Kyle Taub, he is in the 12th spot. Chase Swank, we've seen him up and down the field. So all these drivers, most of them need a win, and most of them are in a position where they can get it done.
Yeah, very well so, but there's 20 more laps left to decide this one, and all that can just be thrown mumbo-jumbo in an instant. Trevor Edwards, though, trying to lead the way through Carson Burrows, however, trying to take control in the outside lane, and he will by about 2 truck lengths.
And I do want to explain something for maybe some people who aren't fully aware of the points here in area. Of course, we aren't doing the Final Four system. Of course, that's been eradicated, but we aren't doing the necessary exact system that NASCAR is doing. We're kind of replicating the 2010 to 2000 and I believe 13 NASCAR, I believe what was Sprint Cup playoffs, where you have the top 10 in on points, and if there's no wild card, it would be the top 12 on points. However, if there's a driver in the top 20 in points that has met the starts requirement, which I believe is 10, and they have a win, they will take the 11th or 12th spot and potentially bump out somebody who made it on points. So that is what we talk about when we say these drivers need a win. It's not a win and in type situation.
Correct. That's a perfect way to describe it.
But in this instance, it kind of is a win-in situation as it all comes together here in the final cutoff race as Garrett Conrath with the dive to the bottom take the lead back.
For some drivers, it is necessarily a win and you're in if you're just on the outside of the top 20 in points, or if you're in the top 20 and you get that win all the time, you're in the wild card spot. Like Garrett Conrath, he's already in, pretty sure.
He's the points leader.
Yeah, he's the points leader. Yeah, that shows how often I'm here, but that's the best thing that Beckner, Slaughter, Swan, best thing those guys can see, because if there's a new winner and then that puts themselves inside the top 20 in points, then all of a sudden they're at that wild card spot, and then only one of those drivers from that group of 3 would be able to point their way in, which is why Alex McCollum not making it tonight just throws everything out the window, and possibly another spot guaranteed between those 2 of 3 drivers. It'll make more sense at the very end, but in the meantime, Garrett Conrad's continuing to log laps as the leader. It'll be 17 to go at the line. Carson Burrows, though, trying to get a run, and I think he led that lap.
I think he did indeed as he passes that Hendry County truck. Of course, you can't go to Hendry County this Saturday, although it will be the 4th of July. I'm sure you'll have some parties to go to, but the party will be at Hendry County on August 29th, a Sugar Smash Night of Destruction, Demo Derby, and I just mainly remember Jason Beckner telling us they're putting flashlights and taping them on cars and turning the track lights off and racing off of flashlight illumination. That's almost enough to get me to fly 1,500 miles. But if you don't have to travel 1,500 miles, perhaps you only have to travel 50 or 100, check out HendryRacing.com and check them out on August 29th. But just kind of remember, as a summation of what's going on, Corey Silva in the booth and the truck hunter Sleppy with the calls. We've only had 1 caution here today in the area truck series chase cut-off race. We are racing with 15 to go. We are racing at a fuel situation. We are being told most everyone is a lap short. We did have some heavy-duty saving after the green flag pit cycle, and that heavy-duty saving has very quickly eradicated. Who can make it to the end? Who can't? Will we have a caution? I will say, we're back to a snake, so I think everyone might be having to post it a little bit.
Yeah, getting closer towards the end of this one. 15 to go when we get to the line this time through, and you can see the speed there inside the chill cut machine, number 60.
Now, the pace has not dropped off. We were running 55s, 54, 55s for about 2 laps. We're now back to normal range of mid-52s, mid to low 53s. So we're kind of running our normal pace. Were those 2 laps of ultra saving enough? I don't quite know, but what I do know is if we are in a fuel deficit, we talked about this earlier, Hunter, I don't want to be Carson Burrows right now. In fact, I don't even want to be Ryan Nowicki. I kind of want to be Alex Chilcutt. I kind of want to be Cole Cabrey because they're hanging on in the draft and they're probably only running about half throttle.
Yeah, they're waiting to go when it's the right time, and it's where all the heavy hitters are towards the rear of the field for the most part. But see some guys up here like Chase Swank in the 71. He's got a truck behind him. That's Brian Noel in the number 7. Trying to get something going. Another truck going up behind them. I want to say that's Conrath in the 49. It is. And just like that, Chase Swank is up front, leading with the 7 and the 49 behind. Only 3 trucks on that outside lane, albeit very not smooth, but it's getting the job done for the most part.
Yeah, we were very squirrely there off of the exit of 2 there. That is kind of what happens in these trucks. A little bit, the air is a little bit more turbulent here in the trucks. So while the bumping is more stable, the air is not necessarily, as Noel goes down and hard cuts in front of the 12 Carson Burrows. Garrett Conrath in the Hendry County Ford, he is going to be out to his lonesome there. Who will come up to try to help? It's so far nobody. There goes Grant Brown, Josh Parrish. Again, they both need to win. And then you find Jalen Handcamp, Trevor Edwards, and just look at this as well. We do have another separation. Chilcutt last in the pack here. 85 is off the lead lap. Then we have to go back almost 2 seconds to the second pack. And this pack, they are saving a lot more aggressively.
Yeah, a lot more packed up and
about a second a lap.
Racing back here.
About a second a lap off the pace.
I thought it would be.
Sorry to cut you off there, Hunter, but yeah, we're running about a second a lap slower in this pack right here. It was a 53.93 for Hayden Swank last time by. Up front, we're at about 53 flats. So, and that will potentially lead or answer some questions, or we don't quite know, but this is going to be 12 laps to go. Chase Swank, if this race ended now, if we had a massive downpour, a tsunami, or anything to red flag this race, he'd be in the chase, but unfortunately for him, none of those things will be applicable. We got to race this for about 12 more laps.
Now looking at the point situations here, Brian Noel, he is a good bit of ways from 20th in points. Forrest Smith, 38 heading into this one. So if he wins, I'm not sure if that would lock him in. Carson Burrows, 38th in points. Ryan Nowicki, he is... Where is he at in points? I don't see him. Oh, he's 35th. So if he wins, that really wouldn't matter too much to those on the cut line trying to make it in.
Which is obviously a good thing. And now some of these drivers know this stuff offhand. Some of these drivers are paying attention to this stuff. And again, we will know most likely right after the race. They do update the points, and we should have a unofficial and tentative figure of who will be racing for that championship with the chase starting next week at Chicagoland. Of course, if you like what you see, stay tuned, because Thursday night we'll be right here at the same racetrack, Talladega, Alabama, for the Florida State Builders Pro Series, because they need to do the same thing. They need to cement their chase lineup. And they're at race number 12, cutoff race here, so stay tuned for that. And then next week, we will be back at Chicagoland Speedway, replicating what they're doing in the real world with the comeback. And we will start our 5-race chase for the area championships. But now 10 laps to go. The pushes are aplenty. Noel and Chase Swank still have the fuel question on our minds. Has about 10 minutes of racing left.
Yeah, looks like everybody's starting to get bunched back up again. Looks like that line is starting to get a little more formed there towards the back, but still, anything can happen inside these next 10 laps of the race, and Chase Swank hoping that he's in front of all 10 and the first one to get to that line.
And just kind of following the lap times again. We'll pull it up on the ticker. You can see it is a 52.6 for the leaders, and most of them running in the mid-52s. Let's go back and where is that next pack?
Someone had a evasive block back there.
They did, and actually that second pack that was running mid-53s, they turned up the wick, and now we are back to one cohesive pack, everyone running the same lap time. So again, it just makes you wonder who's going to sputter, who's not, who's going to make it, who's praying for a yellow. All the questions are in the air, but there are drivers in the back. I know you had said some pretty favorable things about Jacob Bell and him having a chance to get a win here today. Well, I know Dale Earnhardt went, what was the famous quote, 18th to first to score the victory, something like that. Jacob Bell is going to have to one-up that, 26th to first.
Yeah, looking to do just that. Still a number of laps left, and I actually think we wrecked before we have guys sputtering. And I'm not sure if guys sputtering might cause a wreck, but
well, blinking might cause a wreck because that's our race leader.
It caused a wreck last night as well with Van Drugman.
It did. And we saw some amazing acrobatics for Van Drugman in that Cup Series race. Luckily for him, with his many wins in that series, he didn't have any playoff implications, chase implications, however you want to verbiage it. But in the middle, there's the 03 of, that's Dante Curtis. That is not a battle for position. He is 2 laps down in the middle of 3 wide right now. So hopefully, again, no issues there. He's not racing for anything other than maybe helping someone on 609 or a satellite team or friend who may need a little bit of a push here. But coming to 7 laps to go. All the questions still at play, but now you kind of have to throw that all away, throw the guessing games away, and now you just have to race one way or another, Hunter.
Garrett Conrath jumping up in front of Kyle Taub there. Taub, if he wins, he is within the top 20 in points, sitting 16th right now. He wins, he's in. Same with Chase Swank, and it's really getting down to the cut line here. 7 laps to go, going to be 6 to go when we get back to the stripe. A lot of guys are starting to get more bunched up. More pushes are being made. Josh Parrish in the 55. That outside lane.
Oh, my goodness. I
mean, they just pulled, I think, 3 trucks. Yeah, they did. The top 3 trucks were all on the outside lane. They were coming off turn 2. They're now leading the bottom lane.
Now, there's an old rule, and now I am genuinely concerned right now, and I'm not just trying to be TNT and say that I know drama. I'm genuinely concerned, and that's because there was contact in the tri-oval, but I'm genuinely concerned about Chase Swank right now and his connectivity issues here, as he is not now leading the pack. He is in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of a 3x3 sandwich. We saw what happened last night, as Hunter alluded to. They've been doing a great job with the 3 wide, but when there's that level of unknown, I mean, you can't prepare for that. So hopefully things stabilize as we have a 3-truck temporary breakaway.
Yeah, this is kind of looking like the 2001 Daytona 500 a little bit. I'm not sure if any of these 3 have relation with each other team-wise, but looks like the bottom lane is starting to get more balanced, and Chase Swank's starting to catch back up. He's going to jump up to the outside lane. He needs to win, so he's jumping up with Brian Knoll in the number 7 truck, but at the line it's Conrath with only 5 laps remaining.
Indeed the case here is the little breakaway up top, and Jeremy Miller nearly a left rear draft push into the Noel, but able to back off, and that is not stable drafting, and oh jeepers, yeah, Hunter, this is we already have to take a deep breath here, but we also have to gasp for that 71.
Yeah, they are flirting with disaster right there, especially with that 71 truck blinking in and out. That could cause a wreck at any moment if he comes back and he's in the wrong position. But for now, he's still leading his way through. A lot of guys jockeying for position back there, around 5th on back there, door to door. Jalen Hankamp there on the outside, Colin Cobb on the inside. The front 4 are single file. Chase Swank leading the way, coming to 4 to go.
4 laps to go here at Talladega. As we always say, once we get to the white, we get to the checker unconditionally. So 3 green-white checkers in the bank. History says that there's a good plausible chance that we're going to use them, because in 5 out of 6 races, we have used them. So there's a plausible chance this race goes into overtime. But remember, if it doesn't, the fuel question is on many people's minds right now. But right now, nobody's thinking of that. They're thinking of getting the win, thinking of getting that best position to get themselves in that ideal point scenario. 49 with a big push to the back of the 30. Parrish looking third lane, but nobody coming up there with him.
Yeah, he's a sitting duck right now. Here comes Jeremy Miller. He's going to collide in the front of the pack, and there they go. The big one strikes at Talladega with 5 laps remaining. We're going to have a green-white checker to settle this one out.
We are indeed. Now that is the big one. Well, actually, I'm not going to throw fuel out the window because I don't know if everyone's going to want to pit here, but we'll see what happens. Let's try to queue up a replay here. We kind of caught.
You have to pit regardless.
Let's see. Now, the 30 of Miller. He went low, and he went low. I mean, it was hard
Chase swung through a block,
say.
and that threw the 30 truck off, and that's what created this wreck. I saw Ryan Swan get some damage. Travis Beckner had some damage in it. I'm not sure about Brad Slaughter, if he was able to get through unscathed or not, but...
We'll go on board here and just see it straight out of the horse's mouth. Was able to clear, and here he goes to the bottom. Now he's clear. Yeah, there's a block. And there's the contact, and almost rolled over there from the side, but you can see the plethora of vehicles. Conrath, Garrett Grant, Kyle Taub. Luckily, Jacob Bell was so far back, he just basically came to a stop.
Yeah, a number of trucks with damage, and going to be seeing a lot of them come down pit road regardless of whether they're close on fuel or not. But oh boy, I mentioned it. 6 of 7 truck races we've had overtime finishes or green-white checkers. This is about to be 7 of 8.
And now we will pull off into the pits. And as I said, not everyone coming in. So obviously there are some drivers who have a level of confidence that they can save. You can save a lot of fuel here at Talladega by, clutching it and coasting. So you can perhaps save, but the unknown is also, are we going to have a second?
Oh God, that truck just hit the wall.
It did, yeah. That was Chilcutt, pardon me, but it's always good to top off because you don't quite know, are we going to have a second green-white checker? You might be able to save for 1, but can you save for 2 or 3? But drivers trying to get some repairs done. The 30 of Jeremy Miller did not get very many repairs done to that truck, pardon me. I haven't done that a lot tonight. Oh, that right front is not right fronting.
Absolutely not. The one truck I haven't seen, though, is Brad Slaughter. I want to see if he's got any damage.
Where is...
Not sure if he was in that wreck or not, but...
He is in the 10th spot. Let's take a look at what he has to offer right now. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, because I know Swan, Beckner, they had some damage. Swan's actually in front of Slaughter. Those 3 guys racing around each other, trying to fight for every spot that they can. Remember, they were so close to the cut line, but after that wreck, it's thrown everything into chaos. And then with Chase Swank leading, if he wins, he gets a wild card spot. And then who else gets in? Your guess is as good as mine because points are really close right now. But out of Beckner, Slaughter, and Swan, I'd have to go with Slaughter because he's led the most laps.
Absolutely. Now, this is something you see in the real world, more so applicable in the real world because naturally due to gravity, when you are low on fuel, the pickup in these trucks and in cars, the fuel pickup is on the right rear quarter of the fuel cell, so that way when they're sloshed up at full banking in the banking, the force will put the fuel to the right. But when you're going slow and you're on 33 degrees of banking, in the real world, the fuel doesn't reach the pickup and you'll sputter. I guess you could also argue that maybe instead of a 2.66 mile track, maybe you can lower it to 2.6, and maybe that 600ths of a savings could be what you need.
Possibly.
But we did talk earlier. One to go. We did talk earlier about the guess of lead changes here. Now, we haven't had as many as last night. I don't know the number yet. We'll find out probably in about 30 seconds. We did have some good bouts of single file to kill some laps, but what would your guess? I know the trend was around 30-something, you said, Hunter, but what's your guess?
My guess is actually going to be 27.
27, and we'll give YouTube a check in a second to put a guess in. I'm going to go to 21. I'm going to go a little bit lower. And if you do get it on the number, and you can send me an email at primetimeracinktv@gmail.com, I'll send you a set of PTR TV stickers. On the house. I'm feeling generous here, but you got to get it on the nose. But as we get sorted through, and we do still have some drivers kind of out of line here. And just for transparency, it is the top 6 trucks did not pit back to Nowicki in the 74. They are the ones who have the greatest level of fuel concern.
All right. Well, now we run into the possibility of going more than one green, white checker attempt, and then possibly also using all 3 and having this race finish under yellow, which I don't want that to happen. This race deserves to have a finish.
No aura, that aura will not exist. Well, we have one person in chat that is active here, so let's just, before we go green, what's our number? 38. Wow.
Oh, wow. So, 1738, actually.
Okay, Fetty Wap. But we'll come through the tri-oval here. 6 drivers tight on fuel. A lot of drivers need the win. 2 laps to get it done here to solidify your chase life. Green flag back in the air for the restart. Chase Swank leading them through with hand cam. Let's see if we can make it to the white flag.
Yeah, a lot of squirrely motions being made on that outside lane. Some guys are slow and off the pace, and I believe the 20th Swan is one of them. He's just going backwards. Slaughter tried to go out there, and he's going to get around him just fine as Swank leads the way through, that being Chase Swank in the 71 truck, and a lot of moving around. Dyson between the pack, and now here comes Brian Knoll coming through on the outside lane in the 3.
That was a head of steam all by his lonesome, just about cleared. But now here comes the pack. Here comes Parrish. Here comes the 70 of Hayden Swank, who's going to go to the outside, blocked by Knoll. Getting loose, getting sideways, and we're wrecking.
There they go.
Will that be enough to cause the caution? It is. We will rack and stack once again.
Boy, oh boy.
Hunter, I'm blaming you for putting those silly thoughts into the air about us having to go to multiple attempts, but we will try it again. We saw the aggressive blocks by Noel there on that top lane. He was all by his lonesome. Here comes the pack.
Yeah, and just threw a block on Parrish, and then
but that wasn't what it was.
To the Swank.
It was kind of the 71 of Swank who he got loose, and then once he got loose, it did something else. Let's get a little closer perspective.
It was the catalyst of what occurred. Parrish will go up 7 blocks down into the 71.
So it actually was the 67.
Right around the 67.
Pushing the 67, pushing the 71, and that just kind of got everyone kind of out of shape. We'll see what admin calls there. I do see a paragraph in our chat, so it's a very
oh boy,
in-depth situation. And again, those drivers who stayed out, Hunter, they made 1 green-white checker. Can they make 2?
We're on 2. We have never had a race go more than 1 green-white checker attempts, and this is the first in Season 8, the season of the trucks, as I'll call it. Chase Swank going to be really close on fuel. Hand camp as well.
He's pulling he's waving the flag in. He can't do it.
His brother's
Campbell.
coming in too. Hayden Swank, the top three, all coming in. I believe fourth place Jacob Harberts is going to assume control of the lead.
Yep, who is that? That's the green truck. That's the 35 also peeling in. I think that's Danny Ware. Yes, it is. So it'll pull it back to Jacob Harberts, and then we have a front of the pack that we've had for a lot of this race there, Hunter. We got Cole Cabry. We have Cody Dempster, Brad Slaughter, Grant Brown has been leading laps. And look at who's in the mix. I don't know where Cottle started on that final restart last night, but Jacob Bell is in 10th. That's plenty close enough to the front if circumstances play.
You just got to be in a good spot on the final lap, and Cottle was able to do that. I mean, he went from 7th to 1st from the 4th turn to the checkered flag because they all started wrecking in front of him, and he was able to avoid it. So the wear can really come from anywhere in this field right now. It really is just an unknown of when the wrecks are going to happen, because we're going to have wrecks. Whether we make it to the white flag or not, we're going to wreck at some point, but it depends on when and where it happens.
I'm going to add him in on this one. And this is actually something that, I'm just thinking of my experience here in area. That we have not had it, and this is a good thing. We have not had a straight at-fault incident here today. Everything that has been deemed to be a racing deal, there's been nothing egregious, nothing really questionable. We've had some great, solid racing here today, and most of the issues have just been pure things that you would expect both in the simulator and in the real world.
100%. Oh, boy. Well, looking through here, I do want to give some props to Bryce Senesac in the 09. I don't think we've mentioned him so far tonight. I know he's had a rough go around over the course of the season in area. One top 5 to his name on the truck side of things. I'm not sure where that came from because I was not there for it. I want to say he'll stick out like a sore thumb here in a minute. It was in the trucks at Las Vegas, so had a solid going there. Actually, I do remember it now because he stayed out over those green-white checker attempts, but really has not been anywhere in this field tonight. He's kept it quiet. He's stayed out of harm's way for the most part. He's inside the top 5. He has a solid shot of getting another top 5 finish or possibly etching his name into the history books as a winner in area. But got to give him his flowers because he's put himself in a good spot late in the going. We've already mentioned it. Jacob Harberts, Cole Cabry, Cody Dempster, they've been up here. Brad Slaughter, I don't know if we could check. I think he's led the most laps tonight. He's been the dominant truck. He's going to be in 5th, 21 laps. That seems like a good enough number to lead the most laps. But he's got 4 trucks in front of him. He's yet to win in the trucks at Talladega. And with a truck as good as he's had tonight, I think tonight's the night where he can finally cross that track off his list of winners at Talladega.
Now, something I'm interested in. This was a big point I brought up last night to the drivers is where do you want to be on the white flag in the Cup Series race? Honestly, I didn't even want to be in the top 4 taking the white flag. Here in the trucks, I think I have a little bit, and not a ton, but I think I have a little bit more faith in wanting to be in the top, maybe the leader, but namely in the top 4. I don't think you're going to have a 10th to 1st like you did in the Cup Series unless we have a wreck. So my personal guess is that, I don't know. I'm actually
6 or 7?
I'm going with Cody Dempster. I'm going to go with Cody Dempster, and not just because he has a 24 Chevrolet, which was my entire childhood, but I think he's in a good position to make something happen. You can pull out a line, make single truck passes when the situation is right. But interestingly, there's a very big aggressor on that outside with Cole Cabry, and don't count out Jacob Harberts. Very competitive truck who has already won here on the season. But let's head into that restart box for hopefully the final time, Hunter.
It very well could be. And Harberts is going to control the field. Cabry going to be on the outside lane waiting for a bump from the 09 at Senesac. And they're again stacked up on that outside lane. A good jump for the 80 of Harberts as we go green once more from Talladega.
Fire off into turn number 1, and will we get around 2.66 miles? Somebody blinking there. That was Kyle Taub, and we have some squirreliness in the back of the field, but I think we're all facing the right direction. But up front, Harbert's trying to block Cole Cabry. Has a push from Bryce Senesac. The inside not going anywhere quite yet, as we're halfway through this pivotal lap.
And Brad Slaughter not really going anywhere with Dawson Miller behind, trying to get him a push, trying to get some momentum going. It's that middle lane. The top 4 have now steered clear. Senesac to the inside of Cole Cabry, with Harbert still in front. The 14 of Grant Brown went with the 09, but he's so far out. That middle lane's going to get pushed up again. Here comes Slaughter in the 81. We're going to be 3 wide coming towards the stripe, and I think we're going to make it. White flag's waving. The trucks are coming. 1 lap to go from Talladega.
Our shop.area, iRacing.com, white flag, and don't count out that 77, the boss man. He needs a win. He's 3rd row inside as we are absolutely on each other's door. The 80 to the bottom, the 81 up top. Will there be a 3rd lane? Will there be a shift? Right now, we just have a triple tandem here up front, Hunter, but half a lap to go.
Slaughter with that push from the 25 of Evans. 26, actually. Jacob Bell's going to jump up to the outside lane now. Slaughter leads the way through 3 and 4. Jonathan Evans behind, still pushing the 81 of Slaughter. Everybody's starting to get a run coming out of turn 4. Evans going to go up top. We see Taub go up with him. Brad Slaughter, he's loving this. The Evans machine coming up on the outside. Jacob Bell coming through the middle. They're beating and banging, coming to the line. Brad Slaughter's going to win at Talladega.
And the wreck of epic proportions here, crossing the stripe. Cars, trucks, upside down on their lid. But Brad Slaughter will get the win by 6/100ths of a second.
Can confirm. That puts Brad Slaughter in the chase.
Now watch this run to the line. You can see Jacob Bell was just going for everything he had. Photo finish there crossing the stripe. But oh my goodness, Cole Cabry, he went for a ride there. We'll get one more look at that, and then we'll get into our post-race show. Just take a look at this ride here. Started with Jacob Bell going in the middle, 3 wide. He hit Jonathan Evans, and I don't know how they're going to score that one there with driver sideways and on their lid, but
holy cow. Oh, man.
And they're still...
We still have a lot... We still have a lot to sort out as far as who is... as far as who is in the playoffs and or in the chase and who's not.
And just to clarify things, a racing deal coming to the stripe. So a race with no blame. David Weishart, the admin, he's going to be happy. We're going to clear some penalties here. And we'll have a lot less EOLs to start the chase next week. But Brad Slaughter, always someone I put on the top of my list here with super speedway prowess, and did as good of a dominating performance as you can possibly do as he burns it down here on the Dagger front straightaway. But as he celebrates, let's go down and start our post-race show with the final results here tonight.
Yeah, looking through at the results, Brad Slaughter he deserved that. He dominated this race, and he put himself in a good spot at the very end. He wins. Jacob Harbert's in second. Jacob Bell in third. Jonathan Evans and Grant Brown rounding out the top 5 with Cole Cabry, Bryce Senesac, Kyle Taub, Garrett Grant, Jalen Hankamp all inside the top 10, wrecking to the finish.
And you see top 10 within 0.2 of a second. Crazy stuff. Actually, take it even further back. Our top 13 within 0.2 of a second. Chase Swank, Josh Cottle, Carson Burrows, all these drivers were in the mix. And then you head back Brian Knoll, Josh Parrish, Jeff Wilson, Danny Ware, and Ryan Nowicki. And we'll just sort through the final page in a third of results here. All these drivers involved in something towards the end of the race. Jeremy Miller was one to watch. Garrett Conrath, he was up front all the race. Cody Dempster, he was my pick. How well did that go for me? Not very well. And then, of course, the last page of results here. These drivers not having the best of days here at the Super Speedway. But in victory lane for the first time this season with Hunter, Brad Slaughter celebrating here today.
Yeah, currently here with Slaughter Gang CEO Brad Slaughter. Brad, congrats on the win. It's your first win in the truck since season 5 at Kansas, and it was a clutch one back then. It's an even more clutch one now. You had the dominant truck of the night. take me through your thoughts on that final restart and putting yourself in the spot to win.
Yeah, came down and got gas there. It was a big fuel mileage race there leading up to that, and when we had the opportunity with the yellow to come down and get gas, I knew I had to come get it, and that way I could be on the offense and do what I had to do. Man, that was a heck of a race, man, and I got to give a big shout out to Jonathan Evans. Jonathan gave me a great push there and kind of stuck with me, and we worked really well together the entire race. So big shout out to Jonathan Evans, man. But yeah, I mean, it feels good to finally get that monkey off my back. It's been a long time since I won a race, so feels good to know I can still do it.
Yeah, that's got to be a great feeling, man. And honestly, just come to think of it, your first win as a father. This is an unbelievable moment for you and your family. That's a great feeling to have. And like I said, you're locked into the chase just from that win. So take me through your thoughts on how you're going to be able to come through and become a champion once more in the area.
Yeah, it was really all just about making the playoffs. It's been a really rough regular season. I've had a lot better trucks and a lot better runs than the results show. So I feel like now that we've got a little bit of a reset, get to put my head down and just go after it and go get it, baby.
Well, you heard it from the race winner there, Brad Slaughter, getting the job done at Talladega. Congrats, Brad. Have a good night.
Thank you. And before I get out of here, I just want to give a shout out to Group 1 Toyota Rivertown for sponsoring the truck, and shout out to everybody that's tuned in watching. I know grandparents probably tuned in, so love y'all. And yeah, we'll see y'all next week. Let's go, baby.
And that is our race winner here today, Brad Slaughter, and a very close second is going to be Jacob Harbert's second in the points in your chase seating, and you were right there in the mix. A very crazy race here at Talladega, fuel mileage, and then we come down to double green-white checkers, and you end up getting a P2, man. How do you surmise that event here today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly happy with the result. It was, Talladega, first goal was just survive. You do that, you can probably end up with a decent finish. But yeah, I was really just chilling for most of the race, not really worried about where I was running, just staying on the bottom, keeping it clean. There weren't too many wrecks, fortunately, so a lot of us got to be there at the end for it, and it fortunately worked out pretty good for the 80 truck.
And of course, we were coming to the end. I mean, we saw some massive saving. I saw a couple laps you guys were running in the 55s and different drivers on different tracks. Where did you stand if the race actually did end up going on fuel? Were you prepared to make it to the end, or were you going to have to do a last-second audible?
We were going to make it. I was actually really surprised. So I pit like a lap earlier than some of the trucks, and on top of that, some of my friends that we were all pushing each other messed up their pit stop, so we waited after the pit stop cycle for some of them, and then we had a group of 4 and we were able to catch the pack, and we were not saving at all. Once we caught the pack, we saved for like 10 or 15 laps, but we were plenty to the good. Not for the green white checkers, we had to pit for that, but we would have made it to the end if it stayed green.
So you were good off either way, and now more importantly, second place in the points to Garrett Conrath coming to the chase. 5 races to go. What are the odds? What are the confidence levels that you can put that number 80 and get yourself a championship trophy?
I mean, I'm excited. The chase schedule looks really fun. Especially Chicagoland next race. Charlotte's usually a pretty good race, and I'm more of a short track specialist anyway, so hopefully I can put some good finishes together at Bristol and Wilkesboro. Auto Club is the finale. I mean, that'll be a bit of a wild card. It's not quite Daytona and Talladega, but the next step down from it, so that can be a bit of a wild card. So the goal is to try and really capitalize on the first 4 races. That way I don't gotta depend on a wild card as the last one, but we'll see.
Absolutely, man. Any final words or shouts before we let you go?
I'd just like to thank 609 Motorsports and all the 54, the 32, 03, 13 truck. We were all working together, and it was a fun time. Unfortunately, I was the one who pretty much survived it, but the 54 also finished it decent. So overall, it was a solid night.
Absolutely, man. Congrats, and we'll catch you at Chicago next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I'm not quite sure on this. Hunter, we'll have you correct me, or even Jacob yourself. Hunter is with Jacob, and is this the first Jacob Bell interview in PTR TV broadcast history?
I don't know. Jake, Is this the first time you've been on an interview with PTR TV?
It could be. It's been a minute, so I can hold on. I'm looking really quick. My last podium. No, I finished third in Vegas this year. Oh, that's a different league, I think. Yeah, it probably is.
Well, regardless, you're here now, and a phenomenal run to the end. Corey mentioned that you were back a number of laps before all the wrecks started to occur towards the end of this one, and I just knew that when there's a will, there's a way, and you somehow find a way. Every time we're at Talladega, now 5 of your 6 starts here, you finished inside the top 10, this one being your best finish in third. How on earth were you able to get up to the front at the very end?
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I feel like Talladega, I get luckier than Daytona, because that's honestly a lot of it boils down to luck. You got to make it to the end. I think that part takes the skill aspect of it. So like really fortunate, because I was short on fuel that first run because I stayed out to get the lap lead and took less fuel. So that put us behind on that first green flag run, and I only had 2 guys pit with me, Dawson Miller and Jeremy Miller, on the green flag stop. Had a really good pit exit and was able to push Jeremy, make sure we didn't lose the draft or anything like that. And then after that, like I said, it was just saving and surviving to the end and riding in line. It was kind of boring. But then we got the caution with 3 to go or whatever, and just had enough clean truck left to have something to race with.
Absolutely, and it was great to watch it this time. I know I didn't get to watch Daytona, but I was ecstatic after Daytona. I'm ecstatic now.
Yeah.
Sleepy Motorsport trucks inside the top 5 in both Super Speedway races. And I mean, I appreciate your dedication there, because on the first Greenway checker, I saw Ryan didn't get going. You stayed committed to him as long as you could until, I guess he said, forget about me, just go for yourself. And it almost worked down the very end. You were coming through the middle pretty quick there, but congrats, and couldn't be more proud as a team member to watch that.
Yeah, no, I definitely, the team points are on the mind, trying to get Sleepy Motorsports, a better showing than we're at currently. So I saw we gained a spot in the team points because I think we passed LBV, and hopefully we can get back up into the top 5 on team points. But yeah, obviously thank you, Hunter, and everybody with Sleepy Motorsports, Ryan Swan, obviously, trying to work with him tonight to make sure he got the chase spot. I think he did get in the chase, which is good. And then, yeah, obviously Blue Tip Pool Builders. We're building pools here in Hernando County, Florida. Anybody on the West Coast, Tampa area, hit me up if you want a beautiful swimming pool done. Florida State Builders, shop that area, iRacing.com, Rick's Hot Sauce, and honestly, everybody that makes this league happen. A lot of us put in a lot of time, just like you broadcasters do. So Corey, Brad, Hunter, your whole team, you guys have been doing great all season long, so thank you for that. And then David Weishart having to admin this series by himself too, on top of that, is not an easy job. So yeah, just really proud of the league and how this season has progressed. Obviously trucks not our cleanest series, but we're getting better. Tonight I thought was a solid race, so hopefully this chase run is going to be exciting to watch for all the fans. And yeah, so we'll see what we can do next week.
Absolutely. Always fun to have the boss man get himself a good performance. And again, I know David just said it was fun for him too, man. So we'll see what happens next week.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
See ya. Well, as David Weishart just said, a clean sheet here. We'll have a lot less issues to report, a lot less penalties to report as the chase starts. We have the lineup. And we're going to get ready for a rebirth at the Chicagoland Speedway next week, Hunter. Should be a good one.
Absolutely. And in a rare case where only 2 of the 3 of Slaughter, Swan, and Beckner looked like they were going to have to race their way in, unconfirmed, but all 3 of them are currently in. From top to bottom, from the 1st to 12th in the standings, Garrett Conrath, Jacob Harberts. Conrath was the points leader, so he'll be in a pretty good spot heading into the chase. Jacob Harberts second in points, Jeremy Miller third, Cole Cabrey jumped up to 4th in the point standings, Trevor Edwards stayed in 5th, Alex Chilcutt went down to 6th, Danny Ware moved up to 7th, Cody Dempster down in the 8th position, Brad Slaughter with that win, it puts him in 9th in the point standings, Hayden Swank down to 10th, Ryan Swan up to 11th in the point standings, and Travis Beckner unconfirmed by 2 points over Kyle Taub. And there's no one other than Alex McCollum with a win inside the top 20 in standings. But because Alex McCollum did not show up tonight, he misses the chase from one start, and those top 12, they're all going to be going after a truck championship here in area.
Absolutely, and it will be exciting to see, but make sure you stay tuned, like, share, comment, subscribe, follow if you're on Twitch. $5 a month, double points, custom emotes, turn those double points into free merch. Thursday, we'll be back here with the Florida State Builders Pro Series, doing it all again because those guys have a championship to worry about as well. They have a chase to cement the lineup for, so we'll be watching them on Thursday. We'll also have our other series here on PTR TV. Stay tuned for that, and we'll be back for Chase Week. I believe in 2 weeks' time. No, actually next week. Pardon me. Next week, the chase begins. So that is going to be Corey and Hunter signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.